Hey, I'm Marc Cordon Creative. I help people disrupt the status quo via stages like TEDx or podcasts or digital courses and a whole bunch of other creative avenues. A few people know that part of my training is in applied positive psychology, which means that I do have clients coming in to not only live more creatively, but they also want to live a flourishing, joyful life. And I've heard it all. I've heard it all when people come in and want to talk about joy. So here's a couple things that I've heard. I can't pursue joyful things right now. A lot of people are depending on me. They're depending on me to get this job promotion, or other people saying, I can't be happy right now. I have to keep up with the Joneses. Or I hear some people say that I can't truly enjoy life right now until I'm completely debt free. Or I get this one. How can I be happy right now? Do you see the turmoil that the world is in? So these statements, yes, they're diverse. And yet they also have a common thread. There's a pervasive mindset that shows up that prevents people from feeling joy in the present. And this especially shows up with those who are having a tough time going through their daily responsibilities, or those who are waiting for some sort of magical event to happen before they feel joy, or those who are completely paralyzed by trying to please others and live up to their expectations. So this insidious mindset shows up in some of the clients that I work with. So I want to go and break down a couple case studies, see if you can relate to any of these. So the first one, let's talk about Emily, right? Emily came to me and she was completely overwhelmed by her responsibilities. She's a successful project manager, a single mother of two, and going back and forth between her responsibilities at work and her responsibilities at home. And then that kind of became a cycle: responsibilities at work, responsibilities at home. And she didn't think that she could ever find personal joy until all of these projects were done and both of her kids had graduated from college. So there was this belief in her that she needed to accomplish everything perfectly until she could move forward with her own personal joy. And that was completely stifling her. So similarly, I had Tom show up into my business, and he saw joy as a post-goal luxury, and he postponed all of his personal joy and set that aside to look at the flourishing of his company. Now, the thing about Tom was that he did not think that he could ever be happy until that kind of company stability happened. And as a result, Tom really messed up his health and a lot of his personal relationships with other people. So this belief made him chase and chase and chase happiness until he was grinding 24/7 and he was losing his friends, and his health was completely deteriorating. So next up, I want to talk about Anita, who came in trying to live up to the expectations of others and become joyful by living up to their expectations. So Anita found herself comparing herself to the achievements and the success of others. And she began to think that if she wasn't matching those achievements, if she didn't exceed that success that others were showing, then she would never be happy. And so as a result, Anita found herself in this really nasty cycle of envy and dissatisfaction. And finally, I want to talk about Sarah. Sarah kind of pulls at my heartstrings because I've felt this most as of late. When Sarah came in, she was a dedicated human rights activist, but she also felt overwhelmed by the negativity she faced day in and day out. And I can see how that she felt that way. She was looking at global conflicts. She was looking at environmental crises. She was looking at social injustices. And suddenly, Sarah never really found a place for her to feel personal joy. Now, when she came in, she believed it was almost disrespectful to feel personal happiness when there was so much suffering going on in the world. And suddenly her life became a reflection of the chaos that she faced on a daily basis. It left her exhausted and it left her disillusioned. So at some point, I was an Emily who was completely overwhelmed by their daily responsibilities. I was a Tom who saw joy only as a post-goal luxury. I was an Anita who tried to live up to the expectations of others. I was a Sarah who was trying to find my own happiness while navigating a world full of turmoil. When I do feel that, I feel the fear. I feel the lack of freedom. I feel the inability to take any kind of inspired action. I feel it while I'm trying to create this video for you. Now, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, I want you to go to the comment section and write whose case study relates to you the most. So in each and every case, as diverse as they are, the way that you can move from a place of not being able to experience joy to a place where the conditions are really nice to experience joy. all have the same point of transformation, and that is transforming your BS, your belief system, the way that you perceive the world, this way of having a filter, the belief system is, in which it allows certain things in and keeps certain things out. So let's go in and say that maybe your belief system lets in fear, anxiety, anger, sadness, but it keeps out happiness, joy, ebullience. So I want to go and show you my multi-million-dollar office here to talk about what a BS, what a belief system might look like, right? So here we are in the multi-million-dollar office, and suddenly we're overtaken by a blue light. When we're looking through a certain belief system, a certain way of perceiving the world, for me right now, everything seems to be blue. Let's go and say that this blue belief system means fear. No matter where I look, everything makes me fearful. I don't want to go in a world that causes me to see things fearfully. I probably don't want to take inspired action. I probably can't be creative because I'm seeing everything from a tint of fear. Now, what I do is help people experience this, to get rid of that belief system. And it's not easy. It does take work, but that's why I created the Joy Revolution. I get to help you get out of your BS, your belief system, and create something that's new and lively, that brings creativity and joy, so you can get on that TEDx stage or get on the podcast, or so that you can get to do something creative with your life and impact others and change others. So Emily and Tom and Anita and Sarah got to come through our Joy Revolution course, and I want to give you a heads up on what happened when we started to dismantle their belief system, their BS. So Emily, who again was overwhelmed by daily responsibilities, she had the 2 kids, and she also had the program management job. We got to start her with a very small step towards being more joyful, and that was this. She would go and enjoy a cup of coffee in silence on a daily basis. That small. She carved out time for herself, no matter how crazy her to-do list was. And actually what she started finding as we moved further and further into the course was that she started delegating some of those things that she used to be overwhelmed with. So let's talk about Tom for a second. Tom was the one who had the new startup. He let his health go to the pooper, and he was losing friends here and there. And I remember the point where Tom began to turn. We were talking about a form of happiness that was put out by Epicurus, right? That's about being happy in the here and now. And in hearing the things about Epicurus, hearing that type of happiness, Tom really began to value his friends, his family, and his health. And more than that, Tom used to think about his self-care routine as like one of those self-care routines where you like go into the bathtub and you like light candles and you put your feet in the water and take a picture of your feet and put it on Instagram. He really started thinking about the fact that that wasn't self-care, that was burnout, right? And so we started working on what a proactive self-care plan looked like. And Tom not only got to flourish with his business, but also the things that mattered to him the most, his health, as well as his friends and his family. So let's go to Anita. Anita was the one who was trying to live up to the expectations that others had in her. And this led to her being in a comparison trap, her feeling envy, her feeling dissatisfaction. And I remember the part of the Joy Revolution that lit her up. And that was this idea of self-concordance. And by self-concordance, essentially what that means is that a person feels empowered to go after the goals that they want to go after. And I just remember she kind of did this, right? And the thing was, is she didn't know really what she wanted to do. She just knew that she wanted to pursue something that lit her up. And so for the rest of the Joy Revolution, she was leaning to these new areas where she could find herself flourishing in. So finally, let's get to Sarah. Sarah, I feel, is the poster child of the Joy Revolution. Remember, she's the social justice advocate who came in and she was feeling negativity on a regular basis. She couldn't feel happiness because she felt a certain amount of guilt for being happy when others are suffering. So when she came into the Joy Revolution, we identified 2 things: the good that she brought into the world and the good that the world brought to her. But also she found that joy could be this sort of leadership tool in which she gets to create new things in the world. So the big thing that we talked about with her was, yes, we can take down systems by being upset, even angry, even being sad, but we also can build them back up using joy. Why do we have to take down a thing in anger and then build it back up in anger? We can build something out of joy. And so really where we saw Sarah flourishing was in experiencing the joy of doing the work and then using joy as a leadership tool to change the world. And these folks learned that joy does not need to be something that we look up to in the future. It could be something that we can have in the now and in the present. And that enriches everyone's lives. So what resulted from these folks and other folks being a part of the Joy Revolution? We have people who took what they wrote in the Joy Revolution and took it to a TEDx talk. We had people who built the Joy Revolution credo that they came up with and put that as their value statement. We've had people integrate that into their business and mission of their business. And for me personally, it's a big part of why I'm pushing through some of the nerves and the sweats that I'm going through to create this video for you, because there's something greater than just myself. So now that we've explored our limiting BS, I invite you in the comments below to talk about one limiting belief system that you are experiencing in your life. How does that impact your experience with joy? And then finally, if you're up for it, give me a tactic or give me a strategy that you're going to use in the next week to let go of that belief system. I hope this starts a conversation about transformation when it comes to our individual processes and journeys of becoming a more joyful person and having a more joyful life. Now, your story might just inspire someone else to make a change. Remember, we're not in this alone. So if you're looking for more guidance or want to dig deeper into the concepts we talked about today, check out the Joy Revolution course. Also, if you want some more free resources on turning inward or letting go or making meaning and a whole bunch of other things, I want you to check out my online community called The Underground. Link in the description below. And also, if this video resonated with you, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so more videos like this will be sent directly to you. Until the next time we meet, feel good, do good, dig deep, and I'll see you in the underground.